Good evening. I'm Cindy. This is Brett. I'm 10, living. I normally do my vlogs alone, but tonight I was reading Proverbs chapter 2. This is January 2nd. And I was kind of just stumped. I looked at Brett and I was like, I'm not getting this. So we kind of got to talking about it, and I said, well, I'm not going to do this vlog tonight alone, because he and I had a very good discussion going. I thought I'd share it with you. We were talking about chapter 2's the if-then scenario. I didn't see that.
This one actually has it labeled the benefit of wisdom, because it kept saying, if you will receive His word, if you'll take it in.
Yeah, like.
And he starts telling why it's so important to know His word, to read His word, and to absorb it. I use the word to digest it, really, but.
Yeah. Well, mine makes reference to these are the 8 great ifs, then you get 8 blessings for those obedience. And it's all covered in the first 8 verses. If you receive my word and hide my commandments, incline your ear to wisdom, and apply your heart to understanding, Christ after knowledge, and lift up your voice to understanding, seek it as silver, searching her for hidden treasures. I'm thinking that's talking about wisdom when it's referring to the her.
I think it's a metaphor. I don't think it's necessarily talking about a woman in general. Yeah. It could. It still has good points about strange women and the lures of people, but.
Well, I mean, chapter 5
and
verse.
Either way, but I think it's a metaphor right there, because that's what he understood. He was speaking to other men.
Well, this is written by King Solomon, and he did have a weakness for women. So, I just kind of like how verse 5 starts with then. The first 4 says if, then 5 says then you shall have the understanding of the fear of the Lord, and find knowledge of God. You'll be given wisdom, because wisdom and understanding comes from God, you know. And then
verse 10 is the one I like.
Oh, what's verse 10?
When wisdom entereth into the heart, and knowledge is pleasant to thy soul. It says, take the word to your heart.
You know, the psalmist
says that. It starts telling
that.
you why it's important, because it gives you knowledge of what could happen and lets you see what's good and bad.
The psalmist makes reference to that. It says, if you hide my word in your heart, then I won't sin against you. He's talking about hiding the word of God in our hearts so that we will know the difference in right and wrong. Solomon's kind of echoing the psalmist there by saying if we hide the word of God and apply it in our heart, then we have the wisdom and knowledge of the Lord, then we're going to have, I guess, thinking of the armor of God over in Ephesians, you'd have your weaponry for your armor, because you would have the wisdom of God, of His Word, inside of you, kind of like your sword, where you can use it because how often are you going to go, oh, wait a minute, when somebody's coming at you, let me look up the verse I'm supposed to use in that. You can't really do that.
It basically said if you'll take in His Word, you will gain knowledge by knowing His Word, and in turn He will give you wisdom for using your knowledge. Of course, He'll give you wisdom and knowledge if you ask for it, but His Word is wisdom, and His Word is knowledge, and He creates wisdom.
Because wisdom comes from God.
Yep.
Because that's over here too.
It's right after, or right around 10 where he starts all that. Talking about being on the good path and being upright, doing what's right, staying away from what's wrong, and to not turn to the wicked ways, because you know better.
Yeah, because verse 6 says,
you know the word, you know better.
For the Lord giveth wisdom.
That's another way to look at it. If you know better, you shouldn't do it. If you know His word, you know better.
Oh, yes. You have that little voice whispering in the back of your head going, no, 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 no. Because, I mean, then it makes references to women and kind of the evil allures. I don't think it's talking about women in general. I just think it's...
I mentioned that a while ago. I thought that's... I don't know why we did, but he was talking about...
The her. the hidden treasures
Yeah.
of her.
I went over at what go though. I think that could really be a metaphor, just using that for an example.
True.
Because ways of wickedness is kind of like that. It's the lure of somebody else.
What would they call them? Soothsayers? Or something like that?
What
They
did it
tell
say?
you what you want to hear, but it's not always exactly right. And they kind of lure you away. Because if memory serves me correctly, King Solomon got lured.
Yeah.
His weakness, women.
You got to remember in the Bible when it's mentioned man or woman, a lot of times most time it's talking about both men and women.
Yeah.
It's not saying just because it says man, it only means man. You got to read the context, but
Yeah.
most time it's talking about men and women. Because men can be allured to women like women are to men.
That's true. Because you can turn our heads just as fast as we can turn yours. And we can...
Wickedness.
I think it's talking about...
Because it looks good on the outside, but what's the old saying our pastor uses? Keeps you longer than you want to stay, costs you more than you want to spend.
Yeah, something like that. It reminds me of one of the sins. Lust of the flesh, lust of the eye, and pride of life.
Mm-hmm.
That would fall under those. It falls under putting our desires above God's. See, I got stumped when I was reading this because I kept thinking, I'm not getting a lot out of this.
It's like we was talking about this morning. How the Word just keeps revealing it. You see more stuff every time you go back and read, you'll find something different.
Because it's a living, breathing word, relevant for all generations. Because it applies. Because how many times have we read this thing? And every time we read it, we see it in a different light. And it's not coming because the word changed. It's because of where we are in our lives.
Yeah. It's what we need at the time.
Yep. That's pretty cool. I'm interested now to see what chapter 3 will bring. But that's tomorrow. Tomorrow's January 3rd.
Yep.
So, we appreciate you watching. Thank you. And happy reading. God bless.